Kaliko Audio. In this episode, we will go into more deep Buddhist concepts that will hopefully clarify things that allow us to quiet our minds. So, in this episode, the topic we have got is to find out the difference between meritorious deeds and skillfulness. Now, skillfulness can be in relation to many things. However, for this episode, and I guess when we're looking at it in the context of Buddhism, it's the skillfulness in regards to the mind. So, why is it so important to distinguish between these? It's because Gautama Buddha revealed to us the realization of nirvana. Nirvana is also known as extinguishment if we translate it. It's like putting out a flame. So nirvana and the relevant activities to take part in were clarified by Gautama Buddha because only when we practice seeing the mind and its deep nature do we lead to liberation and peace. So, to realize nirvana, we must absolutely end the worldly journey known as samsara. Now, meritorious deeds become contrary to this because this is a concept that prolongs the journey of samsara. This concept has existed many years prior to Gautama Buddha. Meritorious deeds is a perspective which was introduced by the Jain tradition. It has many benefits in the world. However, it does not lead to enlightenment or extinguishment. Now, remember, when we talk about extinguishment, it is in relation to the mind, always. Those who follow that path of meritorious deeds are free to do so. However, we must be clear that there is no nirvana there. Meritorious deeds are good for society. And those who do not understand the depths of this ancient Buddhist philosophy should continue with those meritorious deeds. However, because there's no nirvana there, it does not allow us to break from this cycle of samsara. Gautama Buddha says, Punya papi pahinasa, natti jagarato bayan. What this means is that when we go beyond meritorious deeds and sins, the fear which was in our memory dissipates. It ends. This is because when we are doing these deeds of good and bad, there's always an expectation or outcome of those actions. He then goes on to say that we should go beyond both of these extremities. Ubo ante anupagam majjhima patipada. Go beyond both of these extremities and arrive to the middle path. So, to clarify, meritorious deeds such as feeding those in need, providing shelter to those in need, ensuring the continuation of peace. Everyone should continue these good deeds, however, do so with no expectation of reward or return, rather with a deep understanding of the process of thought. Yathartha Dhamma, or vision of deep truth, is what is essential to realize nirvana through kusalaya. So that is the word that a lot of this session will be focused on. So nirvana through kusalaya means extinguishment through skillfulness. Skillful action is different to meritorious deeds. Gautama Buddha advises to continue feeding those in need, sheltering them and contributing to peace, however, do so while practicing skillful action. What is this skillful action? Kusalaya, skillfulness, dexterity, capability, mastering. It's in relevance to what though? It is the skillfulness in relevance to the realization of nirvana. In other words, the realization of extinguishment. When comparing meritorious deeds to skillfulness, it is like juxtaposing the ground we're standing on to the sky. They are completely different. When skillfulness is developed, it can only be done from within oneself. The Borsath prince, Siddhuath, who was under the Boar tree, was practicing letting go of thought, one after another. Each thought being let go instantly over and over again. This is where the development of Kusalaya occurred. The development of skillfulness, dexterity, capability, and mastery in regards to letting go of thought is developed. So then Kusalaya means, by the full meaning of that word, the development of the skill to disconnect with the thought. Gautama Buddha clarifies this as Sabba papasa akaranan kusalasa upasampada sachitta pariyodapanan etan buddhanusasanan. Leave all sin behind and develop skillfulness so that deep truth is realized. This was the Buddha's instruction in order to realize nirvana. The four supreme efforts are introduced by the Buddha to help cultivate the skillfulness required to realize nirvana. The first is the effort to prevent unskillfulness that has not been born. The second is the effort to discard unskillfulness that has already been born. The third is the effort to cultivate unborn skillfulness. The fourth is the effort to promote skillfulness that has already been born. These are to be seen at this moment now as thought arises. What does that mean? Okay, let's look at it in a little bit more detail. So the first, what does it mean to put effort into preventing unskillfulness that has not been born? If we are going to the past and nourishing thoughts, then that is occurring due to ignorance. This activity is one that disrupts the path to nirvana. Do not take part in this activity. We need to go beyond it. Those thoughts were born in the past and they have ended. Do not go to the past. Similarly, do not go to the future because the future is not here yet. Therefore, prevent the unskillfulness of thought going into the future because that thought of unskillfulness has not arisen yet. Next, the second one, the effort to discard unskillfulness that has been born. The thought that arises in this moment is what is preventing nirvana. So the thought that arises in this moment is the unskillfulness which is born. End the thought, which is the unskillfulness which arises. When this happens, the third happens, which is the unborn skillfulness is cultivated. This skillfulness of discarding thought that has been cultivated, being continued, leads to the fourth, which is the effort to promote the skillfulness of discontinuing thought that has already been born. Continuously let go of thought. Observe each and every thought dissipate. End them instantly. Gautama Buddha advises, Pachupanantayo Dhamman tatta tatta vipassati. Continuously see the cessation of thought one after another. Now, there's also a concept called manodhana maya kusalaya. When we look at this moment, the thought that occurs, when we have the awareness of its arising and its cessation, the beginning of the thought and the end of the thought occurring at the same time, we come to liberation from attachment. If we get attached, then the mind is not let go. Therefore, attachment occurs. However, when it is discarded then and there, we find liberation and freedom from the mind. Gautama Buddha advises, Ditte dittamattan bhavisyati, sute sutamattan bhavisyati, mute mutamattan bhavisyati, viññāne viññāna mattan bhavisyati. Let go of whatever you see, hear, feel, or think, then and there, at that very moment. So, to summarize, meritorious deeds are beneficial for society, and everyone should continue doing these. However, they should continue so knowing the facts, knowing that they will not lead to nirvana. They are different to the skillfulness, which has been introduced by Gautama Buddha, as good deeds and sins both continue the journey of samsara. The skillfulness in extinguishment is what leads to the final liberation, nirvana. I hope that helps clarify these two concepts, and let's go into them in more detail in a future episode. I'll catch you guys on the next one.